Behind every theme park ticket is a secret logbook full of complaints so wild, you would swear staff invented them. People demanding Disney control the weather. Tourists furious that lions sleep. Guests insisting on refunds because gravity exists. Today we break down 69 real complaints, and along the way you will learn how roller coasters, animals, and park magic actually work behind the curtain. 1. Imagine a woman storming guest services at Disney World in mid-July. Sunburn glowing red, demanding a full refund because Orlando was too hot. She actually wrote that Disney should control the weather better for paying customers. Here is what tourists keep forgetting. Orlando averages 92 degrees in summer, with humidity thick enough to chew. Disney hands out free water, runs misting fans, and shades the queues. Commanding the sun, though, is still above the mouse's pay grade. 2. Down at the Jaws ride at Universal, a guy in $300 Italian loafers boards the boat, gets drenched, and immediately files a complaint demanding new shoes. The ride literally features a giant mechanical shark and industrial water cannons. Operators say this happens almost daily, especially with guests who treat log flumes like fashion runways. Warning signs are everywhere, in multiple languages. But somehow, gravity, hydraulics, and basic common sense remain the most underestimated forces in theme park history. 3. Now here is one that horrifies safety engineers. A mother at Six Flags demanded the park lower the height requirement for her 10-year-old son, claiming he was emotionally tall. Sweetheart, those height bars are not vibes-based. They are calculated from restraint geometry, shoulder anchor points, and decades of accident data. A kid slipping under a harness at 60 miles per hour is not a thought experiment. It is the exact catastrophe those numbers prevent. Emotional height sadly has no engineering equivalent. 4. Busch Gardens once received a furious letter from a dad whose vacation was ruined because the lions were sleeping. He wanted a refund, claiming the cats looked bored on purpose. Quick zoology truth. Lions sleep up to 20 hours a day. That is not laziness, that is energy conservation for a predator that needs explosive bursts of speed. The park showcases actual animal biology, not a Vegas magic show. If you wanted constant action, friend, you booked the wrong jungle. 5. At SeaWorld, a woman demanded staff discipline a dolphin because it splashed her and ruined her phone. She insisted the animal made eye contact with malicious intent. Marine biologists everywhere just sighed in unison. Dolphins splash because they are dolphins. It is play, it is communication, sometimes it is flirtation. The park literally sells $5 ponchos at every gift shop entrance for one reason. Everyone gets soaked. That is not a glitch in the experience, that is the experience. 6. Knott's Berry Farm has a famous one. A woman went through their Halloween haunted house, got jump-scared by an actor in a ghoul costume, and demanded he be fired immediately. She wanted the entire attraction redesigned to be less haunted. Read that sentence again, slowly. Scare actors go through professional training, including timing psychology, voice control, and physical safety choreography. The whole industry runs on adrenaline. Asking for a calm haunted house is like asking for a dry swimming pool. 7. At Kings Island in Ohio, a guest filed an angry complaint that the wooden roller coaster was too shaky and demanded the track be smoothed out. Friend, that rattle is the entire personality of a wooden coaster. Unlike steel coasters, wooden tracks flex slightly under each train, which creates that raw, rumbling sensation purists pay money for. Engineers call it controlled chaos. Smoothing it out would mean rebuilding the ride in steel, which is a different category of coaster entirely. The rattle is not a defect, it is the heritage. 8. Universal Orlando got a wild one. A father demanded that Daniel Radcliffe personally appear at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Not a look-alike, not a costumed performer, the actual British movie star. He said his daughter was promised a real wizard. That land cost over $200 million to build, features interactive wands, animatronic dragons, and a working butterbeer recipe. But summoning A-list celebrities to greet 8-year-olds in Florida remains, somehow, outside the operations manual. 9. Down at Dollywood, A guest insisted Dolly Parton walked past her near the gift shop and refused to wave. Tiny problem. Dolly was not at the park that day. The complaint demanded a personal handwritten apology, signed by Dolly herself. This woman runs roughly 40 businesses, a literacy charity that has shipped over 200 million books to kids, plus her music career. She is physically incapable of being everywhere. Although, with Dolly's energy levels, you can never be 100% sure. 10. This is Cedar Point, the roller coaster capital of the world. A grown man rode the tallest coaster in the park, got off shaking, and demanded a refund because the ride was too scary. Sir, the coaster name literally includes the word dragon. The marketing brochure uses terrifying in giant red letters. Buying a thrill ride ticket and then complaining about thrills is like ordering jalapeno wings and filing a lawsuit for spice damage. 11. The Tower of Terror at Disney, California. Adventure once received a complaint that the drops were too sudden. The guest wanted gentle, gradual descents so visitors could prepare emotionally. That is not a modification, that is asking for a completely different machine. The ride uses a patented motor system that pulls cars downward faster than free fall, which is the entire engineering miracle. Gentle dropping technology already exists. It is called the elevator at the dentist's office. 12. A funnel cake war erupted at Six Flags when a woman demanded a refund because her dessert had too much powdered sugar. She called the menu photo deceptive marketing. Ma'am, powdered sugar is the entire personality of a funnel cake. It is not a topping, it is the costume. Park food workers have an entire mental archive of these complaints. The cotton candy too sweet outrage. The pretzel too salty meltdown. People paying for sugar, then suing the sugar. 13. Legoland received a complaint that the Lego shark sculpture did not look like a real shark. The guest wanted the park to swap the bricks for more lifelike materials. Friend, that is the entire brand. The blocky aesthetic is not a budget compromise, it is the point. Each large sculpture can use over 1 million individual bricks and take master builders 4 to 6 months to complete. Asking for realism at Legoland is like ordering pizza and being upset it is round. 14. Hersheypark logged an absolute classic. A woman complained the chocolate-themed rides did not smell enough like chocolate. Her solution? Pump artificial cocoa aroma through every air vent in the park. Scent marketing is actually a real industry used inside hotel lobbies, casinos, and ride queues. But blasting chocolate fumes through a roller coaster at 50 miles per hour would trigger mass motion sickness within about 3 minutes. The magic of Hershey is delicate, not weaponized. 15. A family at Disney World demanded the nightly fireworks be canceled because the noise scared their dog. The dog, by the way, was smuggled into the park inside a stroller, violating Disney's strict no pets policy. That fireworks show draws roughly 50,000 viewers nightly and has been the park's signature finale since the early 60s. So the request was effectively this: cancel 7 decades of tradition for one contraband chihuahua. The answer was a very polite, very firm, very rehearsed no. 16. Kings Island once faced a complaint that long lines were discriminatory against impatient people. The guest wanted free express access for anyone who didn't enjoy waiting. That description fits 100% of humans on Earth. Parks already sell skip-the-line passes, sometimes for over $300 on peak days. The free version is called arriving at rope drop. Declaring impatience a protected class, however, would break federal civil rights law in fascinating new ways. 17. At Universal Studios. Hollywood, a woman complained the famous studio tour showed fake movie sets. She actually expected active productions with real celebrities filming live as the tram rolled past. Most of what guests see are facades, painted plywood fronts held up by wooden braces. That is how cinema has worked since the 1920s. The trick of Hollywood is making cardboard look like Manhattan, not the other way around. The tour announcer even explains this, repeatedly, through a loudspeaker. 18. A Disneyland guest filed a complaint that Sleeping Beauty Castle was smaller than expected. She compared it to massive European castles she had scrolled past on Instagram. Architectural reveal. The castle uses forced perspective, a Hollywood trick where upper floors are built intentionally smaller to look taller from below. At only 77 feet, it is no medieval fortress. But Walt Disney specifically wanted warmth, not intimidation. The castle was never designed to dominate you. It was designed to welcome you. 19. Cedar Point received a complaint that the Ferris wheel was too slow. The guest wanted it cranked up faster, calling it the lamest ride in the park. Here is the engineering. Ferris wheels rotate slowly because of weight distribution and the centripetal forces acting on each gondola. Speed one up significantly, and you either fling passengers sideways or rip the entire wheel off its anchor. Slow is not a flaw. Slow is the only thing keeping you alive at that height. 20. Here is one that perfectly captures the entitled tourist mindset. A guest at Disney Animal Kingdom complained that the safari ride did not guarantee lion sightings. She wanted Disney to place the animals along the route at scheduled times. The savannah at Animal Kingdom covers over 100 acres of open, naturalistic habitat, designed specifically so animals roam freely. That is the entire conservation philosophy. Forcing wildlife to hit marks like Broadway performers is not a zoo. That is a hostage situation. 21. Imagine being a Disney cast member when a guest storms in furious that it rained during her vacation. Not drizzled, rained. In Florida, during hurricane season. She demanded compensation for ruined photos and wanted Disney to issue weather warnings on every ticket. Orlando gets thunderstorms almost every afternoon between June and September. It is meteorologically guaranteed. The park sells ponchos for $10 specifically because of this. Mother Nature, however, does not accept Disney gift cards. 22. At SeaWorld San Antonio, a man complained the penguin exhibit was too cold. He wanted the temperature raised because he felt uncomfortable walking through. Sir, the penguins are from Antarctica. The exhibit is kept around 35 degrees year-round to mimic their actual habitat. Raise that temperature, and you do not have penguins anymore. You have very confused, very dead birds. The guest is welcome to enjoy the warmth of his car in the parking lot. 23. Picture a man at Disneyland demanding the artificial snow on Main Street feel more authentic. He grew up in Minnesota, you see, and the soap bubble snowflakes offended his winter standards. Disney's snow effect is biodegradable foam, engineered to be safe for children, costumes, and animatronics. Real snow would destroy the electrical systems within minutes. Authenticity at Disneyland stops exactly where the lawsuit risk begins. Magic is great, frostbite is not. 24. One Universal Orlando guest demanded the fog machines in the haunted houses be turned off because the mist was ruining her makeup. The entire attraction depends on that fog for atmosphere, lighting effects, and concealing the actors before they jump out. Theatrical fog uses food-grade glycerin and water vapor, completely safe but, yes, slightly damp. Showing up to a horror event in full glam and being shocked by humidity is its own kind of art form. 25. Over at Cedar Point, a woman complained that wind on the roller coasters was messing up her hair. She suggested the park install windshields on every car. Sweetheart, that is a roller coaster. Wind is the deliverable. Speeds reach over 70 miles per hour, which is literally why people scream. Installing windshields would defeat the entire physics of the experience. The salon called, by the way, they recommend a hat. 26. A guest at Disney World demanded the turkey legs be smaller and pinker. Apparently, the famous smoked legs looked too dinosaur-shaped. Fun fact, those iconic Disney turkey legs weigh almost 1.5 pounds each. The pink color comes from smoking, which is a natural curing process, not raw meat. They sell over 2 million of them a year. The dinosaur look is a feature. People literally line up for the prehistoric vibe. 27. At Knott's Berry Farm, home of the legendary boysenberry, a woman complained the boysenberry pie tasted too much like boysenberries. She wanted a refund and suggested the park tone down the flavor. Ma'am, the park was literally founded on boysenberries. Walter Knott helped popularize the fruit in the 1930s. The whole place exists because of that berry. Complaining about boysenberry intensity at Knott's is like complaining about chocolate at Hershey's. 28. A father at Six Flags filed a complaint because his soda was too cold. He demanded the park serve drinks at room temperature for proper digestion. Food service workers everywhere just rolled their eyes in unison. Sodas are served cold because heat destroys carbonation. Warm soda is flat soda, which is just sad brown water. The man also requested ice cream, warmed up to softness. Welcome to a manager's afternoon nightmare. 29. Universal Studios got a complaint that the butterbeer was not magical enough. The guest expected actual sparkles, flying ingredients, or some kind of fairy dust effect. Butterbeer is a butterscotch cream soda topped with whipped foam, sold at roughly $9 a cup. The park moves over 4 million cups a year of the stuff. The magic, ma'am, is in the marketing and the sugar levels, not in actual witchcraft. We are still in Florida after all. 30. Dollywood received a beautifully southern complaint. A woman insisted the cinnamon bread was too cinnamony. That bread is the single most famous food item at the park. The bakery makes thousands of loaves daily, by hand, with a recipe that has not changed since the 80s. Asking Dollywood to dial back the cinnamon bread is genuine treason in Tennessee. The cashier reportedly stared at her for a full 8 seconds before saying anything. 31. At Magic Kingdom, a guest filed a complaint that Prince Charming wasn't charming enough during a meet and greet. The actor smiled, posed, held doors, and signed autographs for over an hour straight. Disney character performers train extensively in voice, posture, and signature mannerisms for their assigned royal. Charm, however, is technically subjective. Filing a paper grievance because a fairy tale prince failed to flirt with you sufficiently belongs in its own museum of human disappointment. 32. A mom at Walt Disney World wrote a furious letter because Elsa refused to freeze her son on demand. The kid had asked the character to use her ice powers, and naturally, no ice came out. The mother accused Disney of false advertising. Character performers are real human beings in costume, not cryogenic weapons. There is no actual frost magic. Explaining the difference between fiction and reality to a grown adult, however, was apparently not on the cast member's job description. 33. Picture a guest at Universal demanding the Hulk character flex more aggressively during photos. The actor, a bodybuilder in green paint, was already mid-pose. The guest wanted veins to pop visibly. Marvel performers at Universal go through casting that resembles a fitness competition, but vascular response is controlled by blood pressure, not customer service training. You cannot summon veins like Uber. Although, judging by the complaint's intensity, this guest could probably pop a vein on command. 34. A SeaWorld trainer once received a complaint that the sea lion show was too scripted. The guest wanted the animals to improvise their performance. Friend, those routines exist because sea lions respond to specific hand signals and trained cues. Improvisation in a marine show is called chaos. The animals are trained for safety, predictability, and welfare. A sea lion freestyling on stage is not entertainment. It is a workplace incident report waiting to happen. 35. A Disney World guest demanded that Goofy stop being so tall. The character is performed by actors at least 6'3", and the costume adds another 6 inches. The complaint claimed the height was intimidating to children. Goofy has been tall since 1932. That is his entire silhouette. Asking Disney to shrink him is asking them to redesign a 90-year-old icon. Other tall characters, like the genie, also went unreported, suggesting selective height discrimination. 36. At Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, a man complained the roller coaster restraints were too tight. He demanded looser harnesses for comfort. Operations managers genuinely lose sleep over complaints like this. Those restraints are calibrated to keep your spine attached to your body during 5 times the force of gravity. Loosening them is not a customer service option. It is a coroner's report. The man was politely informed that comfortable is a relative term when your face is approaching the speed of sound. 37. A woman at Six Flags filed a complaint because the roller coaster made her dizzy. She had ridden it 4 times in a row to be sure. Ma'am, that is not a malfunction. That is success. The ride induces controlled vertigo through inversions, banks, and rapid direction changes. Your inner ear is doing exactly what physics demands. Going on a coaster 4 times and being shocked by dizziness is like jumping in a pool repeatedly and complaining about wetness. 38. One Cedar Point guest demanded a coaster be paused mid-ride so she could answer an important phone call. Operators stared at her. The ride was already in motion, locked into a magnetic launch sequence. Stopping a coaster mid-track requires emergency braking systems that physically cannot be triggered for personal phone calls. The call, presumably, was not actually that important. Although honestly, what kind of business deal happens at 65 miles per hour upside down? 39. Universal Studios logged a complaint that the Spider-Man ride was too three-dimensional. The guest's exact words. She felt the effects were invading her personal space. That ride is a globally celebrated 3D dark ride that pioneered the entire format in 1999. The whole point is that things appear to fly at your face. Calling it too three-dimensional is calling a movie too cinematic. Beautiful complaint, technically accurate, completely beside the point. 40. At Hersheypark, a man insisted the roller coaster go backwards on demand. He wanted reverse mode like a car. Coasters operate on gravity, momentum, and pre-engineered track design. They go where the track goes, period. The only reverse-running coasters are specifically built that way from day one. You cannot put a regular coaster in reverse like you are leaving a parking spot. Although the visual of someone honking at a roller coaster is genuinely incredible. 41. A Disney Animal Kingdom guest filed a complaint that the gorillas were looking at her wrong. She demanded the silverback be spoken to by trainers about manners. Gorillas establish dominance through eye contact. That is primate behavior dating back millions of years. The ape was not being rude. It was being a gorilla. The exhibit even has signage explaining this. Asking zookeepers to lecture an 800-pound silverback on etiquette is, ambitiously, above their pay grade. 42. SeaWorld. Orlando received a complaint that the aquarium fish swim in circles. The guest considered this lazy and wanted the tanks redesigned to encourage diversity and movement. Fish in tanks swim in patterns dictated by water current, tank shape, and species behavior. They are not performing for you. Marine biologists genuinely cannot stop laughing at this one. Demanding fish stop swimming in circles is demanding the ocean grow corners. Both are equally possible. 43. A Busch Gardens visitor complained that the flamingos were the wrong shade of pink. She wanted the birds to be brighter, more Instagram-friendly. Quick biology lesson: flamingo color comes directly from their diet, specifically beta-carotene from shrimp and algae. The shade varies naturally between individuals and seasons. You cannot Photoshop a living bird. The park does not put filters on its wildlife, no matter how much social media has rotted our expectations of nature. 44. One Disney World guest demanded the parrots in the Tiki Room learn new jokes. The animatronic birds have been singing the same tropical tunes since 1963, written by the Sherman Brothers, the same composers behind Mary Poppins. That show is preserved as Disney heritage. Updating the jokes would mean dismantling one of the oldest operating attractions in theme park history. Some things are not outdated. Some things are sacred. 45. At Knott's Berry Farm, a guest filed a complaint about the live peacocks roaming the property. She said they should be on leashes. Knott's has had free-roaming peacocks since the 1940s. It is part of the park's character. They are essentially feathered mascots. Leashing peacocks is not a thing. They would either strangle themselves trying to escape, or more likely, ignore the leash entirely because peacocks have zero respect for human authority. 46. Imagine waiting 2 hours in the Florida sun for Space Mountain, riding it in 2 minutes flat, and then storming guest services to demand compensation for the wait-to-ride ratio. Theme park economics have always worked this way. The wait is the cost. The experience is the product. Anticipation is literally part of the design. Disney engineers actually study queue psychology, including theming, music, and pacing to make waiting feel shorter. The ratio is the industry. Welcome to America's most expensive line. 47. Six Flags caught a creative one. A man demanded a refund for wasted time because he could not ride every coaster in one day. The park has over a dozen coasters, and standard wait times in summer can hit an hour each. Mathematically impossible without skip-the-line passes. He blamed Six Flags for poor scheduling. Sir, you blame the park for the laws of arithmetic. That is a brave new approach to customer service complaints. 48. A woman at Universal Orlando complained that the Fast Pass system was unfair to people who can't afford it. Then she demanded a free upgrade because of the unfairness. So she objected to the system on principle, then asked to personally benefit from it. The Express Pass costs anywhere from $90 to $300 depending on the season. Universal politely explained that the philosophy of fairness does not, sadly, override the cash register.